photographers, too. And on this intermission, we're going to learn about things like f-stops and ASAs. A lesson in photography. Down to Stan Fischler and his guest, Bruce Bennett.
Thank you very much, Jiggs. Every once in a while, you'll see this man on my right in the box right near the penalty box, bobbing up and down. And Bruce Bennett, sometimes you don't go down fast enough, and you pay the price. You've been injured a couple of times. This season, you got bopped. Tell me about it.
Well, I was at Madison Square Garden doing one of the Ranger games, and Brian Maxwell on Minnesota circled around the back of the net, and he looked to clear it, and he cleared it right into my ribs. So I ended up with 2 cracked ribs out of that one.
How many games did you miss?
I didn't miss any. In fact, the game I came back to at the Garden, I got hit 3 times, although they were softer shots.
Where'd you get hit?
Well, once in the rear end, once in the front, in the rib, again, and right at the final buzzer, a little pop shot right on the head.
If you get hit in the derriere, that tells me that you don't know what you're doing. You're facing the wrong... How could that possibly happen, really?
Well, I was chicken, and I turned around real quickly. It doesn't hurt as much if you don't see it coming, and I turned around and it hit me right in the rear.
Don't you think helmets should be mandatory for photographers?
No. There was a photographer of the New York Times, a young girl who had gotten hit once on the head, and she started wearing a helmet, a yellow construction helmet. And I think the guys were aiming for her. And
Bruce Bennett, if I'm not mistaken, my spies tell me you nearly set fire to Tiger Williams of the Vancouver Canucks. Will you confirm or deny that report?
That's true. That was one of my fondest memories of doing hockey. We were doing a poster shooting for Goal magazine right here in the Coliseum, and we tried some fancy stuff with colored gels in front of the lights. And as I was focusing on Tiger Williams, his nose started to move up and down. He smelled something funny. So a little stream of smoke coming from behind his head. And I could see that the gel was starting to catch fire, and I was just going to continue shooting. My assistant, Brian Winkler, who was helping me, yelled, "Ah!" like this. He went crazy. And Williams jumped off the chair and goes, "What are you guys, crazy? You going to kill me? Going to set me on fire?" It's a great moment in hockey.
Okay, well, now we're going to take a look at some of the excellent work that Bruce Bennett has done. I'd like you to tell about each of these pictures.
This is Mount St. Potvin. The first year the Islanders won the Stanley Cup, Potvin erupted in the locker room with champagne and soaked the photographers and everyone else who was in the area. This is just one of the better action shots, I think, out of all the years that I've shot hockey. Dave Langevin always turning players upside down, as well as Dennis Potvin. Brian Trottier just always gets hooked and tripped, and that's just one instance of that. This is one shot we did with Mike Bossy for the cover of the Hockey News. We set the end of his hockey stick on fire with some kerosene and some cotton, and set off the alarms in the basement of the Coliseum. Okay. This is Brian Trottier. We had an idea while we were doing an ad for one of the hockey manufacturers. We did an ad with Brian Trottier and Billy Smith together, and we were wondering what it would look like, what the goalie's view of Brian Trottier coming in on net would be. So we staged this shot, just put the camera in Billy Smith's mask and shot that. This one I really enjoyed shooting. This was on the way back from Vancouver. We landed at the airport after winning the Stanley Cup Finals last year, and there were about, I guess, 1,000 fans there, and it was just a terrific ovation. Clark Gillies opened the back of the airplane by himself and gave the fans the Vancouver salute.
Before you go, can you show us the camera that you used to shoot these pictures, and also the camera that you actually broke in with when you started shooting pictures?
Yeah, this is the camera that we use most often. It's a regular Nikon camera with a fast motor drive and a 300mm lens. It's good for shooting indoor sports.
You told me that you brought the camera that you actually started shooting when you started your camera career.
That's correct. And since you're always asking me for photographs of yourself, I decided to bring it along and honor you by taking a picture of you with it. So if you just hold still for a second here.
Oh, oh brother. This is Stan Fischler from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean going back to Jiggs McDonald. I'll get him yet.
A day late for April Fools, but he got you. Everybody knew it was coming except Mr. Fischler. After 2 periods, the Islanders are trailing 3-2. We'll return with the... How are you going to top that for highlights, 18? We'll be back after these messages.